Reacher Season 3's Undercover story immediately fixed one of the biggest gripes I had with Season 2. I love how Reacher Season 3 has immediately fixed one of the biggest faults with the second series. Namely, it's brought back the mystery. I've read many interviews with author Lee Child over the years about how he writes the typical Jack Reacher book, and a big reason they're so addictive is a certain formula he uses. Namely, the author is always teasing readers with unanswered questions, which pushes them to keep reading. As soon as a certain mystery is solved, a new one begins. Reacher Season 1 adapted Child's Killing Floor, the first novel and one that set the template for everything that followed. The first series had great characters and plenty of action, but the mystery at its core also kept audiences engaged. One element I've always loved about Child's novels and their adaptations is that they fuse a standard murder mystery with a muscle-bound hero right out of the 1980s. Reacher Season 3 is currently riding high with great reviews and ratings, but it comes after the slight letdown of the second season. Reacher Season 2 covered Bad Luck and Trouble, the 11th book, and one that explained the titular drifter's backstory in greater detail. On paper, it was a smart choice for Year 2, as it offered viewers a more in-depth look at Reacher via his friendship with his former unit. I quite enjoyed the second season, despite its many deviations from the source material and choppy fight scenes. One element I did not love about Season 2 was how flat the central mystery was. Where the first season pulled the audience into the murderous conspiracy at the heart of Margrave, Season 2 simply pits Reacher's 110th Special Investigators against a group trying to sell an experimental missile. There were smaller questions woven into the plot, like the possibility that a former special investigator was in league with the bad guys, but overall there's no real mystery to be found in Year 2. Reacher and his gang find out who the villains are and proceed to take them down. Reacher Season 3's case is more compelling and unpredictable. Reacher's new season adapts Persuader, where Alan Ritchson's main character goes undercover with a gunrunner. That setup sounds simple, but Persuader is my personal favorite of the Reacher books. It's a taut thriller where Reacher just barely manages to keep his cover intact from chapter to chapter, as he hunts for a kidnapped agent and looks for a man who tortured and killed a friend of his years before. Reacher's latest series layers on both the tension and mystery, and while it's not a very in-depth story, it's often unpredictable. This goes back to what makes the novels themselves so compulsive, as Reacher always has a new threat or unexpected plot twist to deal with. For example, the character of Angel Dole Manuel Rodriguez seems like another dim-witted thug Reacher has to deal with, but he soon pokes holes in Jack's undercover story. Reacher deals with Angel in a typically blunt manner, but this is just one example of how Season 3 keeps turning the screws. Reacher Season 3's case isn't as absorbing as the show's debut season, but it definitely makes up for the franchise's sophomore slump. When Reacher Season 2 debuted, it promised higher stakes, a tougher Reacher, and a deeper dive into the world of covert ops. And while it delivered on the action and brotherhood angle, thanks to the 110th Special Investigators, the season lacked one critical ingredient that makes Jack Reacher truly compelling: mystery. That gritty, slow-burning, boots-on-the-ground investigative element that made Season 1 such a standout was sidelined in favor of non-stop shootouts and military flashbacks. The result? An entertaining but slightly hollow season. Enter Season 3. From the moment the first episode dropped, I realized something. They fixed it. Almost immediately, Reacher's third outing course-corrected, ditching the all-guns-blazing ensemble format in favor of a tighter, more cerebral narrative. This time, Reacher goes undercover. And that change, subtle on paper, reintroduced the exact element that had been missing: tension. Real, edge-of-your-seat tension. Season 2's misstep. Too much muscle, not enough mind. Let's be clear, Season 2 wasn't bad. Alan Ritchson still delivered a performance carved from granite, and the team dynamics added emotional heft. But it often felt like watching a military reunion tour instead of a thriller. Every confrontation was solved with fists or firepower, and the plot often played second fiddle to the next action set piece. What made Season 1 based on Killing Floor so effective was its pacing. Reacher arrived in Margrave with nothing but a toothbrush and an itch to solve a murder. He asked questions. He snooped around. He listened more than he spoke. and when the moment called for violence, it hit like a sledgehammer. The balance was perfect. Season 2 lost that balance. It gave us more Reacher, but less of the detective Reacher. Season 3 brings the shadow back. Season 3, loosely adapting Persuader, drops Reacher into an undercover assignment so layered, it practically forces him to use his brain more than his biceps. Right from the cold open, we see him watching, waiting, infiltrating. Instead of bulldozing his way through the front door, Reacher is now slipping in through the back, metaphorically and literally. This shift is crucial. Going undercover demands restraint, strategy, deception. It puts Reacher in unfamiliar territory, not geographically, but psychologically. He has to pretend. He has to play nice. He has to act. And for a character who thrives on brutal honesty and unflinching integrity, that creates internal friction. We see a version of Reacher that's quieter, more calculating, and far more interesting. One-man army? Not this time. Another refreshing change in Season 3 is how isolated Reacher feels. The 110th is nowhere in sight. No backup, no old pals to fall back on. Just him and his cover story. That loneliness raises the stakes dramatically. Every decision has consequences. Every mistake could blow the whole operation. Reacher is back in the shadows, and it suits him. What's more, the tension isn't just physical, it's psychological. He's embedded with dangerous people. He can't just knock someone out every time things get dicey. Sometimes he has to let bad things happen to protect the larger mission. That moral ambiguity is new ground for the show, and it's fascinating to watch him navigate it. Alan Ritchson finally gets to stretch. Alan Ritchson's physicality has always been a perfect match for Reacher. But in Season 3, he's finally given more to chew on emotionally. The undercover premise allows Ritchson to explore Reacher's inner life, the guilt, the memories, the moral calculus of pretending to be someone else. His silences feel heavier. His stares more loaded. In one standout scene, Reacher has dinner with the villains he's infiltrating. The tension is palpable. Every word is a test. Every movement, a calculation. He's trying to be someone else while staying true to who he is. That's the kind of scene Season 2 rarely gave us. But Season 3 is full of them. A return to noir roots. With its darker lighting, tighter cinematography, and slower pacing, Season 3 also brings back that hard-boiled noir sensibility that Season 1 nailed. The atmosphere is drenched in suspicion and double crosses. We're no longer watching a superhero saga, we're back in the realm of a detective thriller. And just like that, Reacher feels dangerous again. Reacher the Predator, not just the Protector. One of the more subtle but effective changes in Season 3 is how it repositions Reacher from a protector to a predator. In Season 2, he was reacting, avenging old comrades, defending allies, taking hits for the team. But now, he's hunting. He's infiltrating a dangerous organization with a clear objective, and he's doing it with surgical precision. That makes him scarier, cooler, and frankly, more true to the Reacher of the books. Fixing the franchise formula, by pivoting back to a solo mission with real danger and a slow burn plot, Season 3 corrects the course that Season 2 veered off. It reminds us that Reacher isn't about big teams and bigger explosions. It's about one man walking into a storm and